Jinbe released on the global version of OPTC on the 25th of September 2016. This was one of the most hyped Sugo-Fest since the game's release, as it not only brought along a powerful Sugo-Fest exclusive, but it also brought along a batch of characters that global players had been waiting for a very long time. The Strong World Straw Hats. The Strong World Straw Hats were removed from the Japan Rare Recruit pools, which left many uncertain as to how or when these characters would release onto global, yet they were re-released to both versions with alternate artworks which assisted some key Sugo-Fest exclusive characters. Around this time, the 3-day 2-year Straw Hats also released, which aimed to buff certain classes with some key boosting and utility effects. With 2 batches of Straw Hats in one release, this Sugo-Fest was monumental. The Sugo-Fest exclusive character in this batch aimed to buff the fighter class, providing a decent attack multiplier and a massive HP pool. He had a powerful special that would allow you to generate a full board of slots to your crew, which was extremely rare for most characters up until this point. Introducing Knight of the Sea Jinbe. In this series, we'll be traveling back in time to experience some of the older Sugo-Fest exclusive characters in their prime, aiming to show just what it was like to use these characters on their debut. I hope you enjoy the video, and without further ado, let's enter the Legends of OPTC. So thank you very much for viewing another episode of the Legends of OPTC series, and today we're talking about Jinbe. Jinbe was a pretty cool release. A lot of people loved this character. Personally, it did take me a very long time to pull this character, and unfortunately, I don't actually have a clip on my YouTube channel as for when I actually first pulled this character. I searched high and low, and it looks like the actual point at which I pulled the unit was never recorded and put on YouTube, which is a little bit weird. I thought I would have had it by now, but no, it's not even on there. But anyway, we're here to talk about the release of this character. The release of this character was significant for global. As I touched up on it in the intro of the video, lots of new characters debuted on this Sugo-Fest in September of 2016, including the reintroduction, or just the first introduction for global, of the Strong World characters. The Strong World characters previously had these different artworks which were really cool, and unfortunately global never got access to them. But I think due to some rights issues, that's what a lot of people had speculated, they had taken down the characters that were no longer accessible in the Japan version of the game, and then they re-released them with these artworks, which global eventually got on this Sugo-Fest. So they are literally the same unit that Japan had, the same unit and everything. It's just that the character has a different artwork and a different sprite, different special animation, of course. But these characters were all really good at the time. Well, most of them were pretty good at the time. Luffy, a good strength boosting unit. We'll quickly go over them. We're not going to spend too much time because there's a lot of new characters here. A strength 2x attack booster, which was nice. Sanji wasn't used too much, but basically if you had low HP, he did more damage to all enemies. Wasn't very good when he first came out, but as speed farming became a bit of a thing for Fortnite Islands, he was used definitely for that. Nami was more of a zombie type unit. If you have more than 50% health, you can protect from defeat. You had this Brook character, which was pretty good with Strong World Shanks, as he randomizes all of your slots. And because you could run him on a side team, you could generate a high chance of landing those slots with Strong World Shanks. Zoro was pretty much a Dex Rare Recruit version of Kuma, doing adjacent orbs into Dex and 1000 fixed damage to all enemies. We had Chopper, which was a bit of a utility style unit, removing poison and then giving you a bit of recovery healing. Then we also had Nico Robin. I don't remember exactly what this unit did. Boost the chance of int orbs for 3 turns. Yeah, pretty terrible special. But then we move on to the good ones. Usopp probably being one of the most used Stronghold characters. Very good for shooters back in the day, being a blue unit for shooters. Shooters didn't really have that many good blue units, but also being able to delay for 3 turns and then also give a 10% health cut to all enemies. 14 turn cooldown. If you guys saw the Strongworld Ace video that we did on the channel, the Legends of OPTC for that, we definitely showcased this unit on that team. This unit was very, very powerful. And then also the release of Strongworld Frankie, who was also very good for the shooter team, giving himself a guaranteed matching slot and giving an orb boost, a 1.5 times orb boost for 2 turns. So all of these characters debuted on this one Sugo-Fest. But then of course we had the 3-day 2-year characters, which would also be released alongside Jinbe. Now the 3-day 2-year characters didn't all release in one batch, they were split into 2 separate batches. The first batch we had Zoro. Zoro was a pretty friggin' phenomenal character on release, but then in this batch we had the other half of the Straw Hats, Luffy, Nami, Usopp, and Frankie. The first batch is definitely way more desirable though, because Zoro was an amazing slasher attack booster, and Nico Robin, which we showcased on the Crocodile video, was also one of the best cerebral units at the time that had great synergy with Legend Crocodile. In this batch, it was a bit of a weird one. We'll go through all these characters. We have Cyborg Frankie, who is a strength shooter free spirit character with a special ability that would reduce all damage taken from quick enemies by 100% for 1 turn. If you're up against quick, yeah, that's pretty nice to have. This character didn't see that much play. There was a couple of niche circumstances where you would actually want this character on your crew, but a majority of cases, no, it wasn't a very usable character. This Usopp was actually pretty significant, being a Dex shooter, but his captain effect boosting the attack of Dex characters by 1.75 times, which was pretty terrible, obviously, but boosting their HP by 2.25. This was the largest health pool that any one crew could get access to in the game, and there were some teams that literally utilized Usopp as the captain to clear difficult content just due to the fact that this team had crazy amounts of health, and by running just healing characters on your team you could actually get your way through content, which was pretty absurd. But then the special ability itself doing a bit of damage to all enemies and then boosting Dex characters attack by 1.75 times. Not a terrible special on release, but honestly didn't see too much play because mono Dex teams weren't that great. A lot of mono Dex teams were literally just like Dex slasher teams just because of those health cuts being super good with Raid Mihawk. This Nami character was also a pretty awesome rare recruit on release, a Psy Striker cerebral character. Captain effect wasn't really too useful, pretty terrible. Special ability though, bind reduction of 1 character completely. You select 1 character, removes all turns of bind on them no matter what. And then for your Striker and your cerebral characters, changing badly matching slots into matching. Not an awful special, sometimes sees play today because there aren't many characters that you can literally remove all duration of bind on 1 character. This is one of those units, so it was a bit niche, but still not an awful character. And then the final rare recruit of this batch that we'll be talking about before we talk about the legend is Monkey D. Luffy. This character is basically a nerfed version of V1 Rayleigh. So he's a quick fighter free spirit. Captain ability would boost the chain multiplier by a 3.5 times and then give you a 1.25 health boost. Yeah, as we said, basically a nerfed version of Rayleigh. Rayleigh being a 4 times chain multiplier boost, this one being 3.5. A pretty big difference, honestly, when you compare the damage. Then his special ability would give you a bit of damage and then also make perfects easier to hit for 3 turns. Not a useful rare recruit at all. Like, this character was never good, honestly, just a pretty bad unit overall. But then we get to talking about Jinbe. Now, Jinbe is a very interesting legend, and on release was actually very good. Now, he is an int fighter powerhouse character, great class combination there, and then his captain ability, which we're not looking at his expanded captain effect, but it would boost the attack of fighter characters by 2 times and give them a 1.5 health boost, which is the same health boost that characters like Stronghold Ace would provide, which is a very significant health pool. Plus you can boost that with a couple of ships, which we may talk about in this video, but also if your HP is above 70% or below 30%, it would boost the attack of fighter characters by 2.75 times instead. Now remember, this is still the meta of around characters being, 3 times was about the max that constant legends could provide, right? Like last week we looked at Fujitora, he'd provide a 3 times boost if you had a matching slot. Characters like Crocodile, which were kind of crazy, 3.5 if you were at 1 HP. Stronghold Ace was still a 3 times if you had a matching slot. So, it was around that multiplier. So the fact that this character could provide a 2.75 times boost no matter what slot they had, so long as you're at really high HP or really low HP. So if you're in that middle ground of between 30 and 70%, yeah, your multiplier was awful, but there are definitely ways that you can apply certain characters on your crew in order to guarantee to be above or below that threshold. His special ability was very nice for fighter crews as well, making perfects harder to hit for 1 turn, which was a pretty absurd effect. It makes no sense why he even received this ability, but then he dealt 20 times his attack in int damage to all enemies, but then changes all slots on fighter characters into matching slots. There weren't too many characters in the game at this point that could guarantee you a full board of matching slots, and this was one of them. So meaning that it didn't really matter what slots you had moving into the final stage. You didn't need to bring a character to guarantee you slots. You had Jinbe to do that for your crew, which was really nice. So that's one of the great benefits of this unit. Being able to just walk into a stage and get a full board of matching slots was always an extremely useful ability to have, especially for fighter teams, because orb manipulation was not the greatest back in 2016. Alright, let's have a look at what kind of content we're going to be playing today. On the wheel, we've got Clash Akainu, Clash Sabo, we've also got Clash Eneru, and Clash Kizaru. So relatively difficult raids, like 60 stamina raids and higher, because Jinbe was a very good legend on a release, and I do believe that he should be able to take on all of these. So I'm very excited to jump into this one. Let's go ahead and spin the wheel a couple of times, and hopefully we get some interesting content to play today with V1 Legend Jinbe. And we are gonna get Clash Kizaru. Okay, so that was really on the line between, who was it? Akainu. Between Akainu and Kizaru. And we're going with Kizaru. Alright, let's go ahead and build a team and see what we can come up with. And here we are now in-game with my man Jinbe. Amazing artwork, actually. A whale shark fisherman and captain of the Sun Pirates. As one of the 7 warlords of the sea, he refused a government order to fight against Whitebeard, later fighting alongside his pirate crew to rescue the condemned ace. This guy is amazing. He's a really cool legend. Well, at least not now. He's not an amazing legend. I mean, his 6+ is usable still, but on release was a very powerful Sugo-Fest exclusive character, really utilizing tankiness to help him get through fights, and that's exactly what we're going to be doing today against Clash Kizaru. This is the team that we are going to be bringing here. A bit of obscurity coming in with the Rare Recruit Namur, or Namul, however you want to say it. Senor Pink is a really nice unit. We used him on the Sabo team, I do believe, but a very nice Rare Recruit nonetheless. We also have Marco, who is one of the best additional Sugo-Fest exclusives to work alongside Jinbe, as remember, if you're above 70% HP, you get the better attack boost, and Marco provides amazing healing, which can get you to that multiplier. Then we've also got Rare Recruit Koala, which does provide us with a 1.75 fighter attack boost. Namul, as we said, is just a really weird unit, but he's a dex unit, so he'll have type advantage, but he's also an attack booster. The thing about Kizaru is that he actually revives, so having multiple attack boosters or multiple turns of a boost is going to help you a lot. Now, we don't really have too much utility on this crew, which is why we're utilizing tankiness to get through the fight rather than removing enemy gimmicks. Alongside this, we are using the Sun Pirate ship, which is amazing for Jinbe, as it will boost fighter characters' attack and health by 1.5. So we have 1.5 HP with 2 Jinbes, and then this ship on top of it, we have amazing HP multipliers. However, if you do choose to run non-fighter characters alongside Jinbe, this is a terrible ship, because each time you reduce the amount of fighters you have in your crew, you actually get less attack and health via this ship. So this is what we're planning to bring today. Let's go ahead and jump into the content versus Clash Kizaru. So shout out to my man TheLordShiro for providing us with the Jinbe friend captain. Shout out to my girl Karissa as well, who would have actually provided it. Unfortunately didn't show up on the friends list. A little bit weird, even though I did check it earlier on in the day. Don't know why that's not here. However, this is the team that we are bringing against Clash Kizaru. It has been a really long time since I've taken on this event. Without further ado, guys, let's go ahead and jump into it. And here we are with Clash Kizaru, the 60 stamina difficulty, of course. Now, you can see that, look at that HP bar, 62,000, 63,000 HP for a character in 2016 is very, very nice to have, which means that it is a larger HP pool below 30% and above 70%, so that we are likely to be in that threshold to get that attack boost for him. So either 2 times boost or a 2.75 times attack boost. Now, the way that I have this team organized is that we are taking a lot of turns on the final boss versus Kizaru, meaning that we don't need to stall as much here on the earlier stages of this quest. So we're probably just going to fly through a lot of these earlier stages just to make sure that when we get to the boss stage, like that's basically it. We want to have as much HP as we can possibly get. And when we do reach that final boss stage, we really don't need to do that much stall, because we will be stalling actually a lot on stage, I think stage 2 or stage 3. Actually, it is stage 2, because I know that stage 3 and stage 4 have pacifistas, but on stage 2, as we're coming up to it now, has the turtle and I think maybe a lobster that we're going to be stalling on. So that's what we're going to be doing, getting a little bit of turns of stall off just in case if we do need it, but we probably don't need to do that much stall here. We don't want to take any damage basically from these guys, so let's go ahead and kill these guys off. We'll kill the other Marine General guy. kill him off, which leaves us just with a turtle and the lobster. So, you know, even though we have a lot of HP to play with, like as we said, the fact that the HP is so significant means that the range between 70% and 100% is actually pretty awesome. Like there's a pretty large pool of health that we have to play with there. So even though we might take a couple of hits from enemies, we don't have to worry too much about it. But moving on after this, we are going to be dealing with some pacifistas on stage 3 and stage 4. The pacifistas are pretty annoying because they all have like different effects depending on what color the pacifista is. At this point here, we can just move on to the next stage. That's completely okay. Probably should have kept the Dex Orb just in case if we needed it. We actually do have a quick enemy here. Definitely should have kept that Dex Orb on Koala. That's okay. Let's go ahead and just attack this guy. We're doing a lot of damage to him anyway. Alright, he's down, and he has a 20-hit combo barrier, so we'll go ahead and deal with him now. We do have a quick slot on Marco, however, 20-hit combo barrier is pretty bad, because I think every character on this team is a 4-hit combo. So we need to make sure that we attack with Marco last. Perfect. Another thing as well is that Jinbe's attack animation looks so sick. He literally throws a whale of water at the enemy. It's so freaking badass. Alright, let's go ahead and take down the back enemy first. And I guess after that, we'll take on the yellow one, and then we can hit the 3 perfects in the following turn. I think that seems pretty reasonable to me. Alright, let's do this. Change targets. And then we'll get rid of these slots. Hopefully get a matching slot on Senor Pink would be pretty nice. We actually do get a matching slot on Senor Pink. That's very good. Alright, let's move on to the next stage. So even though we didn't do that much stall, we're already, you know, at the final boss stage, and our specials are pretty much maxed, right? So we're at the final boss, Kizaru. Now, this is where we're actually going to be spending a lot of time, right? Because, as we said, there are a couple of gimmicks that we will kind of struggle to get around, and there aren't many good fighter characters that released around this time that will give you a huge damage boost. I mean, technically speaking, we could run a, like, powerhouse fighter team, like a hybrid kind of thing, with 3-day 2-year Sanji. That is something that I was thinking about, but the damage just wasn't there. Kizaru has 3.5-ish million HP, and there just isn't enough damage for this team to just outright kill it in one turn, because you can see that our Dex characters do receive special reverse. So we can't even use Koala special, which is really good. We can't use 3-day 2-year Sanji special on turn 1 either, because he's also a Dex unit. So it's a bit unfortunate. So we are going to go the Stally route in order to get through it as effectively as we can. Now, basically, every single turn, Kizaru is going to do a different thing. So on turn 1, you can see he did the special reverse to Dex units, that's whatever. So let's go ahead and pass the turn now. Do as much damage as we possibly can. Attack last with these Dex units. Probably should have attacked last with Marco, but no matter. That's fine. Now, on the second turn, he's going to change all of our slots into badly matching slots. Now, remember that Jinbe has a really good special ability that is able to give us guaranteed matching slots. So we're going to definitely be abusing that on our burst turns. But for now, we're just going to be taking our time just to get through it, okay? So once again, we're going to go ahead and attack. And now on the third turn, or technically this is the second turn, but the third turn, the third effect that he's going to activate on this next turn here is going to be damage threshold, right? So this means that strength, dex, and quick characters have their damage reduced, so they can only do a maximum of 50,000 damage. And yeah, if you do have int characters and psi characters, those characters will still hit for normal damage. So let's go ahead and attack with these guys, because they don't hit for as much. And then the sign-in characters will hit for their full attack value, which is kind of nice to see. So if we get matching slots on those guys, helps a lot. Now he's going to activate another effect, which is going to blind us for 3 turns. However, the good thing about this is that the blindness only activates once throughout the entire duration of the event. So that's nice to see. Once these 3 turns are gone, we will be able to not really have to worry about the blindness anymore. So unfortunately, we get the dex slot now, but it's not too bad because we can still hit for good damage with Senor Pink and our Jinbes. The blindness is a little bit annoying, but if you focus up a little bit, you can still get some good damage off there, which is nice to see. So as you can see, we're chipping away at HP now. We are definitely below the 70% threshold, so we're now only at a 2x attack multiplier. Now you can see that he does apply a despair to your crew after that blindness turn. I believe it's a 2 to 3 turn threshold. I think it might be 3 turn threshold of despair. So at this point, the damage threshold is completely removed, so that's good to see, but we are still inflicted with blindness. But at this point here, he is going to basically repeat the process. So I believe on this next turn here, he should give us a full board of badly matching slots, if I remember correctly. I think that's what he's going to do. Yep, he does it once again. Of course he does, Kizaru. Alright, so let's just pass the turn again, and the blindness will dissipate on this next turn, which is good to see. However, as we've already established, he's going to go through that cycle again. So next turn, he's going to apply 2 turns of damage threshold. Once again, we want to hit with our sign-in characters. Unfortunately, Jinbe does have badly matching slots, but our blindness is removed, which is good to see. So we'll attack with Senor Pink last. Actually, we'll do it now. Yeah, it's fine. That's fine. Gonna take a bit of damage here, but now this is where he would typically do the blindness, but luckily he doesn't apply it again, which is good. Now we can see that the damage threshold is about to expire. We are going to burst on this next turn, and one thing to note is that yes, we are going to be below that 30% threshold, which is good, which means that we are going to have the max multiplier for our team. And he does have still a decent amount of HP, but it's not too bad. So at this point, I mean, we can activate Senor Pink if we wanted to. We could use Marco if we wanted to. We probably would still kill with a Marco special. He does apply the Despair. Now remember, on the next turn, he's going to give us a full board of badly matching slots again. So that's not really going to be that big of an issue because we do have Jinbe special activation. So let's do our burst turn. We're going to use the lower multipliers on the revive because on the revive, he only has like 1,000,000 HP, whereas now he has definitely above 1,000,000. So let's go ahead and activate the Koala special, which is going to give us a 1.75 times attack boost to our fighter characters. She released alongside V1 Sabo, so she's been out for a long time at this point. So let's go ahead and use the Senor Pink special, which is going to give us a 1.75 times orb boost to all characters on our crew. Really nice Rev Recruit on release. And now we can activate the Jinbe special, which will give us a full board of matching slots to our fighter characters. Unfortunately, Jinbe had this really weird ability where he would also make perfects more difficult to hit. I guess, you know, you're supposed to use him alongside the Rev Recruit Luffy that came with him to make perfects easier to hit. You use them together. Really weird ability either way. So we have a full board of matching slots, we have an orb boost, we have an attack boost, and now we just need to hit our perfects, which can be difficult because they are going to be harder to hit due to this debuff, but we should have more than enough damage to get the job done here. Alright, let's get this party started. Let's get it. Okay, pretty good, pretty good. Okay, I was getting a little bit scared there, but no, we had more than enough damage. That's absolutely no issue whatsoever. So now at this point, he's going to buff his own attack, which is whatever. But remember, now he's going to give us a full board of badly matching slots again because we killed him on the right turn. So now we can activate the rest of our abilities. Namur is going to give us a 1.5 times attack boost instead. And then we have Marco, which is going to give us not only the 1.5 times orb boost, but essentially a full heal, which is so good. I mean, Marco is just such a good legend, especially with Jinbe. So we're going to be maintaining that really high multiplier of Jinbe. And then once again, we can use Jinbe again to give us a full board of matching slots, and we're pretty much good to go. We should be able to get the job done. This is awesome. This, again, been pretty successful, which is good to see. All right, here we go. Without further ado, let's get Kizaru down. Let's get it. And there it is. Boom, boom, boom. Very nice. We got the job done with V1 Jinbe. Dude, such a cool legend. And he was also not only good for, you know, raid bosses, but very, very nice for Colosseums. And also training forests as well, due to Marco being able to provide that really good healing with that amazing HP pool of Jinbe. Was very, very nice to use for training forests. So really, really impressed with this unit. And that is going to bring about the end of another episode of the Legends of OPTC series. Really hope you guys have enjoyed this episode this week. Next week, though, we're going to be taking on a new legend, which is Cavendish. Cavendish was not one of my favorite legend releases, but still a very nice unit that would pave the way for other strength, dex, and quick boosting captains later on down the line, which I'm very excited to get to. So hopefully you guys have enjoyed this video today, and if you guys did enjoy the video, make sure to go ahead and leave a like, and if you want to stay up to date with all of the content that I post on my channel, including more One Piece Treasure Cruise content, make sure to hit the subscribe button down below. But on that, guys, I'll see you guys within the next video.